Grace, our schools, our theaters, our hockey arenas, but we don't necessarily know that much about the Albertans who made such an enormous contribution to our province. Author Brian Brennan's new book is Alberta Originals, Stories of Albertans Who Made a Difference. The profiles range from business people who gave millions to their communities, to social activists, to scientists, to politicians, and many others. Brian Brennan is with us now. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Ian.
So what essentially were your criteria for the people in this book?
Actually, no criteria. Just people that intrigued me, that interested me. Sometimes I go on these trips to the public library just looking for inspiration, and if I see a name of an individual that appeals to me, I might bring the book home, and unlike Mr. Burton, who writes a whole book about them, I just read a chapter. And,
but all the people in here have passed away.
That's right.
That was a key criteria.
That's the criteria.
So you won't find Peter Lougheed, for example?
Not yet. No, hopefully not for a long time.
Yes, let's hope not.
Yeah.
There are some terrific, ordinary people who did some fantastic things in this book.
That's quite true, yeah.
One that comes to mind for me was Maud Riley, who was a social welfare activist in Calgary, who probably helped, would you say, thousands of women and children?
For sure, very definitely. And the story there, Ian, is that she had some great difficulty when she was giving birth to, I believe, her second child. And she prayed, and she said if she were saved and if the child were saved, that she would devote her life for the welfare of children. And that's what she did. And over the next, my goodness, 40, 50 years, she worked continuously for the welfare of children in this province.
And she didn't get paid a cent?
No, she didn't. It was all on a volunteer basis. And this is rather sad. At the end of the day, the house that she lived in was still remembered. Her name was remembered in the Maud Riley home for the shelter. But when that building was, her name did not carry on. So sadly, there are no public edifices that I know of that have Maud Riley's name on it.
Mm-hmm. There is a public edifice in Black Diamond, though, that bears Dr. Dave Lander's name.
That's right.
The swimming pool is named after him. Yeah. Why was he so special?
He worked in the cause of alcoholism. He was probably one of the first physicians to consider alcoholism as a disease rather than a social habit. And he did a lot of good work in that area, and he was widely recognized. As a matter of fact, Reader's Digest singled him out as one of their unforgettable characters. So he did get a lot of attention for the work he did. You know,
one name that pops up around Calgary and area all the time, again and again, is Max Bell. It's on an arena, it's on a theater, there's a building at the Banff Centre named after him.
Right.
So who was Max Bell?
Well, Max Bell was a very successsul businessman in the first instance. At one point, he was the old Calgary Albertan newspaper, and he was very successful. Actually, he made his fortune initially in the newspaper business, and then later on, as a lot of people have done, and I'm always it's tremendous when you see these stories. He started to give back to his community and gave back in a very major way, and so endowed many institutions through his philanthropy.
Well, for example, he died in 1972, and yet the Performing Arts Centre didn't come along until the mid-'80s,
That's
and
correct.
The theatre there was named many years after his death, after him.
It was named, I think, probably right around the time that the Performing Arts Centre opened in 1985. I think the Max Bell name was on the theatre at that point. And and of course there's the Max Bell Arena in town as well, which I think existed for many years before that.
Okay, a very colorful character, Two Gun Cohen?
Two Gun Cohen. He was kind of a two-bit hustler, gambler, drifter type, who encountered an armed robbery in a restaurant in Saskatoon, and he punched out the robber and endeared himself to the Chinese community as a result. So at the end of the day, he ended up in China as a bodyguard for Sun Yat-sen, the Republican political leader over there. And he got the nickname because he had one gun on his hip and the other one in his shoulder holster. And here's an interesting little bit of trivia, and you had Pierre Burton on the show just a little while ago. Morris Two Gun Cohen sort of moved back and forth between China and Canada over the years. And the last time that he made an appearance in Canada was in 1960. He was a guest on Front Page Challenge.
Oh, really?
That's right. Now, I didn't know until today whether they identified the mystery guest.
Yeah.
And of course, when I was waiting to come on the show a little while ago, of course, I asked him, did you get it? And he said, yes, I think we did. He said, because in fact, Pierre Burton had known Maurice Two-Gun Cohen earlier. He had interviewed him, and so he actually knew who he was. And
that was 41 years ago.
That's right.
And he still remembers. Wow.
Yes, indeed.
Well, some good yarns in this book.
Well, thank you, Ian.
Thank you for coming in. Brian Brennan's new book is Alberta Originals, Stories of Albertans Who Made a Difference. And he'll be reading from his book and signing it this Thursday at 7:30 at Pages Books on Kensington. Well, he's been on Broadway before.